Shivering Timbers at Michigan's Adventure is a CCI wooden coaster constantly known as one of their greatest creations. Now I got the chance to ride this past summer with a couple of rides just because we were running low on time, but I did feel like a good enough experience on that, being two rides, once in the front and the other in the middle. So this is going to be my full in-depth review going on what I thought was good and not so good about this coaster, and my overall thoughts. But most importantly, before we start, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more videos on coasters often. Also, if you want to see more, make sure to follow our social media pages for updates and much more. Now, the one thing that really stood out to me was just on how much airtime there was on this coaster. That's pretty much the entire ride other than the helix. And on my first ride, I had high expectations because I heard such good things about this coaster and how good the airtime was, and to be honest, I was a little disappointed. It all pretty much started out while driving to this park on how that's the first thing you see right by the parking lot. Now I had a vision in my head on how big it would be, and really it was way smaller than I expected, that being in height, even though it looks pretty big in videos, especially in the footage. Overall, this park as a whole disappointed me, but that's for another video, as this coaster is still a fun ride. But let's get into the stats, as it is of course located on Michigan's Adventure. It is 122 feet tall, pretty solid, for a wooden coaster. Its max speed is 57 miles per hour, and of course has no inversions for it being a wooden coaster. And finally, it has a very long track length at 5,383 feet long. Now, that does contribute to the ride experience, as it is a very long in the duration. But this coaster is still fun, though I was disappointed. There are lots of moments that are good, such as the airtime moments. There are a ton of, but in my opinion, I would compare these to the weaker hills on Voyage. They feel pretty much the same, just maybe not as strong, because the whole ride are pretty much bumping over the airtime hills. That does take away a little from how strong it is. I would definitely say the airtime is quantity over quality. But there are some quality hills that can send you out of your seat a little, and that's what makes it pretty fun, even though I did expect a lot more out of the airtime. But let's get into the ride experience, as you walk up to the plaza with the coaster right in front of you. As you then enter the station, you'll be greeted with the standard PTC trains, always good trains for wooden coasters like these. You will next leave the station and go up that lift hill, as you then arrive at the top, get views of absolutely nothing. Then you'll go down that drop. I was not really impressed with this drop, as it did not really have any airtime, and it was pretty much a straight drop with no really that much of an angle to it to give it airtime. And then from here on, you're gonna hit back to back with these airtime hills. Like I said earlier, you don't get too much airtime on these because the coaster is pretty bumpy, even though in the POVs it looks like very strong airtime, but in real life that is far from what they are. I definitely would say that the POVs make this coaster look better than it actually is, but like I said, there will be these airtime hills to where as you turn around, the coming off it gives great views of the park from ways, just because this coaster is so long. But then you'll get decent airtime in the middle rows off that into a lot of more airtime hills. Now, what's really cool is that there is this part that's now a standard airtime hill, but it used to be like a sort of off-axis element, and it looks pretty cool. But there are 6 more airtime moments that are definitely better than the first ones, just because you're going faster to these and for being low to the ground. But then to end out this coaster, there's this very nice helix. It actually does have some great laterals and intensity to it, being the only element on this coaster than the airtime hills. But then you'll end out your ride on Shivering Timbers. Overall, this is a fun coaster for being the best at Michigan's Adventure, but like I said, it did disappoint me. So for its overall score, it'll get a 7.5 out of 10, which is not a bad score at all. Just don't, if you come to ride this, have too high of expectations, which is hard to do because it's Michigan's Adventure. But anyways, what do you think of Shivering Timbers? Make sure to post that in the comments below. And of course, make sure to subscribe for more videos like this often. And see ya!